don't know me, I'm Magic Mistress, and today we're going to be talking about how to use magic and spells manifesting with maladaptive daydreaming. So, let's just get into it. This is going to sound very contradicting, but the first thing you need to do is stop doing it. I'll explain this later on, but I highly recommend watching my other videos that I posted. I explained how I stopped it and things that you can do to help the journey be easier for you stopping it. Now, there's two scenarios that you can do with this. You can either completely stop it before you start incorporating magic with it, or you can plan on stopping it and then kind of diving into that magic before you stop it. But either way, you need to completely stop doing it. We have to stop it because we are replacing it with something entirely different, manifesting. So if you don't know what manifesting is, it's creating your own reality based on being grateful for what you currently have, but knowing you deserve and knowing you desire more, and you make that happen. And maladaptive daydreaming is creating a false reality and escaping from the one you currently have. So I hope that makes sense why we have to completely get rid of that so we can get to the higher level and use our gifts in a more positive way. You can't manifest if you're not grateful for what you currently have. If you're daydreaming, you probably aren't grateful. You're probably escaping from your current reality. I don't mean to say grateful in a harsh way, but I mean that's why we daydream, because we're tired of our reality we're living in and escaping to a different one. I want to be extremely clear about what I said earlier about the two scenarios. So the first one is you completely stop, and then after you're done quitting, then you go into it months later. And the other one is you do it and then you make the plan to stop later on. But when you stop, you have to stop completely. That means you're not manifesting at all when you're stopping. You're going through the full month and a half or whatever you need to completely stop of everything. Okay, so when I say that you can do it before you stop, it means you can do it, but you have to make the plan to stop, and then when you stop, you cannot do it at all. For the first scenario, stopping completely, this is the best one, because when you're doing this, you've already gone through the journey of quitting and you've already gained this stronger newfound sense of self, and you found out so many things about yourself. This is going to help you put that strong strength energy in your magic, and it's going to amplify it. So being grateful for what you currently have is the first step. The second step is you already have this imaginative, vivid gift that you can just imagine things and feel things. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're imagining stories, when you're daydreaming, you feel like you're in it, right? So when you're manifesting, you're already feeling like it's already happening. And that's the other step. It's feeling like you're vividly there. Like you're already feeling it happen. You're already accepting it because you're already feeling what it's like to be there. You also need to be confident in being out of your comfort zone. Because when you're working with magic, especially this kind, you're going to have to be doing things that are different than what you normally do, especially if you want to go on a higher level, physically, mentally, all that. You're going to need to do things that are out of your comfort zone. Those first three things are about your mentality before you start. You need to make sure you're good, meditate, whatever you need to do. When you're starting, first, before you do anything, make sure you have a path of where you want to go. Because it's obviously going to come natural to you when you're doing this. You already have that gift of being able to do this, and now you're doing it for yourself. So it's important to have a clear path at first, but trust yourself that you'll know where you're going, and you don't really have to have an exact plan of what you're going to do. Once you're in that frequency that you can achieve anything you want through your magic, and you have that clear path of where you want to start and end, you can start. And I highly recommend doing this in a kind of dark lit room. Maybe light some candles, LED lights, whatever resonates with you. And you're going to want to physically act how your manifestation is going to be. So yes, you're going to be manifesting it in your mind, but you also need to reflect this on the outside. So if you need to wear different clothes, wear different clothes. or no clothes at all. I mean, it depends what you're manifesting. Align everything with what your path is. So, an example, you want a new wardrobe. You want to start wearing a different pair of shoes. Get one pair of shoes that resonates with this, with your outfit, and wear this when you're imagining. Let's say you want to have a different approach, a different posture. Practice your walk in front of a mirror and have a mirror in front of you and just keep walking while you're manifesting the story in your head of where you want to go. You're feeling like you're already there, you're seeing yourself being there, and you're feeling yourself physically be there, walking there, wearing the clothes, whatever it is for you. One thing to be careful of when you're doing this is make sure you don't get lost in it. I don't recommend doing this for more than an hour or two because this is completely different than maladaptive daydreaming. First of all, you're going to be tired as hell. Trust me, if you're doing this right, if your spell is actually working, you're going to need like a 4-hour nap after this because it's taking everything out of you. And it's important to create the path before you start and stay true to the path. So when you're doing this, if you're having some like distracting thoughts or random ass scenarios that you're seeing that is like steering you away from like what you actually are manifesting, then I would just stop and do it a different day. It's not like these things are going to happen like if you see a random event, you're like, oh, I didn't want that. It's actually going to probably make none of the things happen. Because if you start out with this path and you steer away from it and then you don't end on it, it's like it just gets pushed off. But if you start on this path, you keep it short and simple, you don't get lost in it with distracting thoughts or scenarios, and you stay on this path, and then you end, and then you sleep it off, then you wake up and feel rejuvenated, yes, it will happen. Trust me. Just keep that in mind. I would say some releases before you start, saying like I release any distracting thoughts or scenarios that are going to get in the way of me doing this. This is my sacred practice. I release any distractions before you start. If you communicate with your guides, you can also ask them for help with this, assistance in keeping your mind calm and focused during this. If you want to amplify your spells even more, you can listen to subliminals that are going with your manifestation. But I do urge caution if you're going to listen to these. Make sure you read the affirmations in the description box before you listen to it, because sometimes there's stuff in there that you don't want and you're just listening to it and you don't want to attract it in your life. So make sure you just pick the ones that are specifically everything in there is like, yes, I want that. And subliminals are usually short. They're only 5 to 20 minutes. So, this may be a shorter session that you're just listening to the subliminal, and maybe you're not even visually manifesting it, but maybe you're just listening to the subliminal and feeling it and just letting it go to your subconscious. That is also manifesting. And make sure you're in a good headspace before you do this, whether you need to do healing work, maybe you're just distracted that day. Don't do it if you're not in the right headspace. Make sure you stay hydrated too, because this is different than maladaptive daydreaming. You're taking energy out of yourself. It shouldn't be consuming you all the time. Make sure you don't do this all the time, because if you're manifesting all the time, you're not giving any room for the manifestations to come in. Don't let the results consume you. Release that attachment from seeing results. And lastly, the more organized, short, and simple you keep your spells, the better they will work. And that's about it. So if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know. And thank you for watching.